You make this rather snappy, won't you? I have some very heavy thinking to do before 10 o'clock.
And there we are. Good morning, everybody. I'm Terry. This is Get It Right Texoma first.
That's right.
And this is Trey.
I'm Trey.
Yeah,
and as we have our friend Mike, our podcaster in the sky, Mike Hendren right here with us, who's over our shoulders every day.
Yeah.
So
and we go live every Friday morning.
At 7:30.
7:30. And by chance, if we've only done it once, but if we have to go like we're not able to go live, we'll have it pre-recorded and we'll show it at 7:30.
Absolutely,
So,
yeah.
But
and we're on Facebook and YouTube, so you can check us out there. And by the way, this morning's guest is Wichita County Judge candidate Mark Dora.
Yes,
he's here.
Yes,
switch to the three spot real quick. Three shot.
Oh yes, okay. Let me see if I can figure out how to do that.
He's here, but he's not here.
He's here, but
there he is.
There
but he's actually going to be here live in a little while.
Yes, there we go. See, he can even be just the two of you, and then we can just us.
There you go.
Real fancy stuff. But anyway, please comment, share, all that good stuff, because we can see your comments right here. Love us, like us, whatever.
Hate us, just
hate
comments.
us. Yeah, just make us.
Don't make it too bad though, because Terry's a little sensitive.
No, I know. Yeah. So anyway, go ahead and we'll get right into it. And this is Get It Right Texoma.
That's right. Local restaurant, folks. This is we all started. This is a staple in Texoma, in Wichita Falls. The Pioneer 3 restaurant, also known as P3.
Yes. On
the corner of Shepherd Access Road and Business 281 or 287. It's Scott, basically. Where if you go to the end of Shepherd Access Road, if you turn right, you're on Old Isle Park Road.
Yeah.
If you turn left, you're on Scott Street.
Okay.
And it's been there in the corner. That for years they had this huge sign. It was probably before you were here. They had a huge sign that stuck up that looked like a starburst. It was very retro 60s looking.
Oh, okay.
But they've been around a long time. Of course, they're part of the Great Pioneer family. We've talked over and over about the McBride. It's the McBrides that had the McBride restaurant. El Gordo's at one time.
Right.
Actually had a Mexican
Gordo.
restaurant.
Yeah.
And have the Pioneers. Yeah. And I think at one time, and I don't think they were all open, but I think they got up to like P10 or 11 or something at one time.
Okay.
Yeah. There was a time when there was a Pioneer restaurant on Broad Street and Holiday Street before the overpass. So if you're from Wichita Falls, when you were going through Wichita Falls, 281, 287, 90, I-44 converge, and you used to drive down Holiday Street when you were going southbound and up Holiday Street going northbound. And there was a Pioneer restaurant on each one of those.
Jeez.
Literally about 2 blocks away.
Wow.
But anyhow, so P3, it's been there a long time. Of course, they're famous for the chicken fried steak and their enchiladas and all sort of things. And they've been bought out. Now, none of the Pioneer restaurants are owned by McBride's.
Right.
So McBride's family, I think Ford Swanson, he's got the McBride's there, but he's a Pioneer. He's a descendant. But so Brad is there. He's been there for a long time, and this restaurant it's a great family restaurant. It's a large facility. Of course, they've got great food. You can see some of the amazing food that they have right there.
Yeah. Ooh, old traditional stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, then I guess that's a special.
Maybe
menu.
a special or something like that. Yeah. But it's good food, good people. They've been there a long time, and it's very consistent. That's the nice thing about it. When the Pioneers have hand cut steaks. Yeah. Their breakfast is great.
Their breakfast, yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
then they have live music sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
Look at there.
So,
cool.
Yeah, it's good food and good family atmosphere. Very consistent. Once again, the Pioneer restaurants, or the McBride's restaurants, were known for their enchiladas. Okay. And their chicken fried steak. Okay. And they've carried on this tradition here.
They open at 8, so there's your breakfast right there. And
no, it's a breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Right.
It's not just a breakfast and lunch or a lunch and dinner. It's a breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I think the only day they're closed is on Saturday, isn't it? Or Monday.
Yeah, Monday.
Monday.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
So
P3,
right. Go check them out.
All right. Well, then what would be on the next thing?
Next up, Sip and Science. This is Riverbend Nature Center.
Things are kind of happening. going on in the world.
Absolutely,
of
yeah.
Wichita Falls.
Yeah, our friend Jenica Lambert over at Executive Director at Riverbend Nature Center sent this over and said, hey, remind everybody about the Sip and Science. My wife and I did attend one of these. The one we went to was the history of beer.
Okay.
So the reason it's called a Sip and Science is because they do serve alcoholic beverages.
For adults.
21 and older. Yeah, not alcoholic beverages for kids. So keep your 12-year-old away. But they have experts come in and they talk about specific things, topics. And this one is bluebirds.
Oh, yeah, I guess I ought to switch to the thing.
There you go.
All right, so bluebirds, not blue. Bluebirds, not blue birds. They're not, I guess, blue. They're bluebirds.
They're right. They're part of them are blue. They're not 100% blue. And there's a picture of obviously a non-all blue bird.
All right, so then wine, beer, and hors d'oeuvres included. All right, so.
But it's a really neat thing. It's a good evening, couple hours, 6:30 to 8:30. You go in, you learn a little bit about a topic. It's very relaxed atmosphere. As you can imagine, there's some drinking going on. Nobody's getting sloshed that I've seen.
Hope so.
Yeah, you don't want to. You hate to have the bouncer come out at the Riverbend Nature Center, but no. So not everybody, but people are just having a good time. They're relaxed. People are asking questions, and it's neat to learn about these topics. So if you're just at all interested in a good family or good evening with maybe a date night or something like that. Yeah. Go check it out. It's $25 per person. If you're a non-member of Riverbend Nature Center, if you are a member, it's $20 per person.
There you go. And then so they're going to do discuss bluebird breeding cycles, nest box construction, and proper placement and ongoing maintenance, as well as the impacts of habitat reduction on bluebird numbers. Okay, so.
And bluebirds, they're part of the ecology. It's all very important. So, and it's going to be April 20. It's going to be Friday, 24th. April 24th.
All right.
So that's next. Yeah, because today is the 17th.
Yeah.
So it's next Friday.
All right.
Be sure to get your tickets early because they do sometimes, I believe, sell out.
Yeah. Well, let's buy tickets. Let's see. Well, they didn't say they're full. I don't know. No,
I mean, there's probably a few tickets left, but don't wait till the day of and hope you get in.
Yeah. All right. Well, then.
Next, we kind of want to talk about a couple things. We have 2 farmers markets here in Wichita Falls.
Yeah.
And we haven't really been able to. We've wanted to highlight them a little bit, but we haven't been able to. Yeah, get your mouse wiggling there, boy. But we haven't been able to do it because we've had so many events coming in. People that say there's nothing to do in Wichita Falls, bull.
Yeah.
There's plenty of stuff. But if you're into farmers markets and that sort of thing, you not only have one farmers market in Wichita Falls, you have 2 farmers markets in Wichita Falls to choose from.
Yep.
So you have the downtown. This one is the downtown farmers market.
Right. This is the one where the original
traditional farmers market.
Right.
It's on the corner of 7th and Indiana, Ohio.
Right.
It's the one that has the roll up. It has a permanent facility there that has the roll up doors. Right. And there's so much that are going on in the farmers market. It's kind of like the old gun shows when John Tom White used to say there's a lot more at a gun show than guns.
Right.
There's a lot more at the farmers market than just vegetables.
Right.
But there are fresh vegetables, as you can see.
Yes.
But a lot of times wineries will come in, people that have proteins, milk, and that sort of thing. And then they have their special days. So this is the downtown farmers market. And the nice thing about it is they're not too far apart. You can generally hit both if you really want to.
Right.
But my wife goes to the farmers markets on Saturday. I'm usually working. But Saturday mornings is when she goes. And she'll usually go to both because they both have some distinctive stuff. Like there's a few people, I think the Moraths, there are a few people that'll go to both, but then there's a lot that will just pick and choose.
So is it every Saturday?
Every Saturday morning?
Every Saturday, both of them? Okay.
Well, let's do. We're doing one, and then another right there. There's the hours.
Okay. Well, this is the original one.
Yeah. Let's do.
Okay. That's every Saturday 9 to 1. All right.
There you go. That's the downtown farmers market.
And then
the other one is the farmers market. Is the Wichita Falls Farmers Market Association.
Right.
And they're on Austin Street.
Okay. That looks like it. That's isn't that the Straight Street?
It used to be Straight Street.
Oh, it used to be. Okay.
I think Straight Street moved.
Okay. Yeah.
So, but it's a big pavilion there.
Right.
And they have the same thing, and their hours. Flip on their hours.
It was same hours. It's a 9 to 1, except May to September, it becomes 8 to 1.
Right, they have some extended hours though.
And then October to December,
or different hours, I should say.
Well, they're similar. They're 9, right? Because they're
No, I'm talking about they differentiate their hours amongst themselves. Depends on what time of year they're open.
Oh, right.
They're not saying we're open 9 to 11 all year round. It's different.
Well,
So
they're not. Well, they're 9. They close at 1 every time, it says,
Right.
and then it's just that from May to September they're open 8 to 1. Just they open a little earlier in May.
And this is a group of people that were all involved in the farmers market downtown, and decided they wanted to go do something on their own. Which, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. If you go do what you want to do, so they formed their own association, and they have their own setup. They have their own people, and it's a very good farmers market. Both of them are great farmers markets.
And but interesting. It's kind of, I bet there's a bit of a friendly competition in a way. It's like we're the best farmers market, you know.
I'm sure there is.
But whichever one you want to go to, or both, or probably the both. I mean, that's the great thing about it. It's a variety.
It's a mile away.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, seriously, it's probably less than a mile, but probably a mile is driving. As a crow flies, it's probably, a half a mile as a crow flies.
Yeah.
So it's not very far. So go check it out, and hit them both. And you'll find things at certain places that, like I said, that are at one and not at the other. Mm-hmm. So if you're into that, and I'm gonna tell you, my wife, there was a lady who used to have this creamy jalapeno dip, and she's been gone for a while. And I opened up the refrigerator Saturday afternoon or evening when I got home, and there were 2 jars of that creamy jalapeno dip. And it is some of the best dip you've ever had in your life there. And so she told me the creamy jalapeno dip lady is back.
All right. Well, there you go.
Go check them out. All the farmers markets. All right. On to some news, some current topics. Okay. The U.S. started the blockade in the Strait of Hormuz. So, as we talked about last week, the ceasefire, there was a ceasefire that happened. The ceasefire meant we quit bombing the crap out of Iran. I mean, it wasn't like Iran was over here bombing us.
Yeah.
So that was the ceasefire. And Iran started deciding that they were going to be obstinate about opening up the Strait of Hormuz. And so the United States Navy said, okay, hold my beer. We'll show you. And so the United States Navy has gone out there. And last night, I believe I saw a report yesterday that I think it was like 18 ships had been turned around. Nobody had gone through the blockade, by the way. And 18 ships had been turned around. Now, the U.S. Navy is not stopping all vessels in the Straits of Hormuz. What they're doing is vessels that are coming in and out of Iranian ports. And so no matter who they're flagged. Because, it's like anything else. Ships carry the flags, and so they might put a different flag on it and say, hey, we're an English ship, but U.S. intelligence, which they have, goes, bullshit. This is an Iranian ship. And so what they're doing is they're basically economically choking Iran right now, and they're trying to do that to get them back to the negotiation table.
Yeah.
And have some real negotiations.
Well, yeah. I don't know. If you just let things lie sometimes, you got to force the issue a bit.
Well, we've let this lie too long.
Right.
Look, I'm going through Reagan, Bush, Clinton, Bush, Obama, Trump, and Biden. So that's 7. Trump's back in, but his first presidency, he didn't do anything with Iran like this. It was time. Iran started this shit. They picked this shit in 1978. This is when they basically drew the line in the sand. And they've gotten worse and worse, and nobody's really done anything about it. Yeah. We've kind of let them fester. And as you see, when you let a disease fester, it gets worse and worse. And by the way, they're horrible to their citizens. And that's not the reason that we went in there to do this, but it's not like this was some great upstanding. It's not like we've done this to Monaco or someplace like that. They're horrible to their citizens. If you're gay, or if you're a woman, or if you're a Christian, if you're other than a Muslim, good luck in Iran. Yeah, it's a pretty rough life for you. But then they got these nuclear. They were enriching nuclear, and they were getting close to a nuclear weapon. And there were sanctions, and there were this, and there were that. Well, it turns out, how good were those sanctions? Because we recently found out they had a missile that would travel a lot further than they were supposed to have one.
Well, we have another story that's related to this that I ran across.
Absolutely,
that's cool.
And we can dovetail in that minute. But so right now, what we need to understand is there's a reason why the world needs to be sure that there's not a nuclear Iran. We don't need another North Korea. And I don't know, to be honest with you, I think the possibility of Iran being more radicalized than North Korea is higher. And so I think this was a smart move. Yes, gas prices have gone up, but I do find it pretty rich when you have people on the left who are screaming and crying about gas prices who said jack shit when the gas prices were $4 a gallon under Biden.
Yeah.
Okay. And Trump was very clear about this when he came out, and he said, this is what we're doing. It's going to cause a little bit of pain at the pump for a little while.
Yeah.
And somebody pulled up, I saw an interview with Kamala Harris, and she was defending high gas prices during the Biden administration because we were doing the right thing to help our fellow allies in the world. And democracy has a cost to it. And yet, how rich is that? She does that whole speech, and then yesterday or the day before, she's given a stump speech in front of a gas station talking about how this is Trump's gas hike. So,
yeah. Well, and something else, I was watching, I ran across a video of Glenn Beck, and he's a little off. He goes off into these weird
that boy's
places
thrown
sometimes.
off. I'm sorry.
But he actually has a lot of great information. And one of the things he was talking about the other day was he was talking about why did the gas prices go up? Well, we're actually producing more oil than we ever have.
We're exporting it now.
Right, but we're exporting it, but it's not oil that we actually can refine in our country. We are pulling out of the ground this something sweet crude.
West Texas crude.
Yeah, but it's not the same type of ours. I guess that's a smoother, more liquid. I don't know.
Well, it's just a refining.
Right.
How much refining does it take?
Right, and we haven't made a refinery in our country. Haven't actually built one since the 70s.
Long time.
And we have no more we have no capacity to go beyond what we're doing now. So what happens is we have to ship this out, but we have to get our oil from overseas, from all these places.
The oil that we can refine,
right?
Gas,
which is right, and nobody wants, and it's $30 billion or something to build one, and the fact is that apparently we're not going to get that money back, and nobody's willing to put in that money into it to build them. So that's anyway, just
to build a refinery.
To build a refinery.
So because you have your crude, and then you have your, I think it's West Texas Intermediate,
right, which
is less crude.
Right.
I don't know what makes oil crude. You take it out of the ground and goes, hey, put me back, you son of a bitch.
Yeah. So, but
or talks about your mama or something like that.
Yeah.
So, but the point is, this is serious. The United States is serious about this, and now there's a lot of people. There's John Kerry. I saw some pretty prominent Democrats that are going, look, this blockade in the Strait of Hormuz is working. It's effective. It should work, and it's the right thing to do. We're not bombing the hell out of people. It's economic sanctions, and what we're trying to do is we're trying to bring them back to the negotiation table. The whole point is, if the Trump administration wanted Iran wiped off the face of the earth, they could have done it.
Right, we could have,
easily.
Yeah, we could have kept it going.
Although
we're running out of some bombs apparently. So
I bet you we still have a few in the
well, I'm sure we have other weapons besides
bombs. But my point is,
bombs,
because they can't stop us. We could have a kid on a 3-wheel, a tricycle go up there and shoot a bomb over. I mean, they can't stop it. So this is compassion. This is trying to be compassionate about getting somebody to the table to negotiate and make sure that they don't have a nuclear weapon. Yeah. And this is a way to do it that is not just bombing the shit out of people and killing people. Right. It is, we're going to choke you out. And at some point you got it when somebody puts a chokehold on, if you've ever done jujitsu or anything like that, when somebody puts a chokehold on you, you either tap or you go to sleep.
Right.
Because at some point somebody's got it in and they got it sunk in so tight, you can't get out of it. And that's kind of where this is. I think the administration is trying to put a chokehold on Iran and going, look, please tap. We want you to tap. We don't want you to go to sleep. We want you to tap out.
Yeah, no, I got you.
And then go ahead with your article that has to do with this.
So I ran across this, and it's directly related. So we have a right here. Iran reportedly bought an in-orbit Chinese satellite. So basically, China had this satellite already up there, and it's like, hey, and I don't know. I guess I assume it's maybe a lease. They say purchase, but they at least purchased time on it. Maybe they actually own it now. But it's an interesting thing that this is a commercial
they do a rent
satellite.
to own.
Yeah, right. Maybe
one of those rent to own places where you pay like a super high amount.
Maybe. But the thing is, though, this is a commercial satellite. And it's being used, and that's a lot of stuff that we're seeing here. Although the drones that they have, that's all commercial off-the-shelf stuff. And they just modify it and go with that. And that's and because a lot of the drones they have, they're using as weapons, right?
Right.
And they're cheap. And we were spending some ungodly amount to try to shoot these, these are $20,000 drones, and we were throwing $1 million or something. I mean, I don't know what the actual number is. But anyway, this guy, this allowed them to be looking for a while now at okay, so it talks about the resolution of these satellites, but they went from, so this gave the country the ability to capture satellite imagery at a resolution of 0.5 meters. By comparison, Iran's existing newer satellite was only capable of a 5 meter resolution. So they're down to half, so meaning that they can see that much more detail.
And a meter is basically 3 feet.
Right. And so so that's a foot and a half.
About a foot and a half.
Right, versus 15 feet.
15 feet, yeah.
They can see 15, whatever minimal thing is, that's 15 feet, and they don't see much. But this spreads that out significantly.
Down to a foot and a half. Yeah, it just makes sense.
Yeah, think of photos. You've seen back in the old days when we had our original digital cameras and our old phones, you take a look at it, they're all fuzzy. And then now with your iPhone or your Android with 20 billion pixels or whatever.
You could see a nose hair hanging out of somebody's nose.
You can zoom in and all that. Well, that's what this is. But it's just interesting. Now, I don't know there's no costs that I remember in here, but obviously they've had enough money to go, and China's happy to do it.
Well, but that being said, China has now said they're backing off. They're not sending any weapons or anything over to Iran.
Right, but they'll just send them, but they'll just let them use the satellite.
I don't know that they will anymore. They did.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I think China is backing off. They're kind of seeing the writing on the wall. I think China is trying to get Iran to make a deal too.
Right.
Because China needs Iran, or they don't need they could buy their oil somewhere else, but right now they're getting inexpensive oil from Iran.
Right.
So it's a good deal for China.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All
right.
Next up, I know we have a lot of national stuff. We will go to a local here in a few minutes, but Eric Swalwell steps down. This is a big deal. Of course, Eric Swalwell was one of the Nancy Pelosi henchmen, I would say, on TV, who would Congress representative from California that would get up there and trash Trump and anybody that was in the Trump orbit, and talk about, and he was one of the tip of the spear of the Me Too movement. Ironically, he's actually being accused of rape and sexual misconduct.
Wow.
And I'm going to be very clear here. Everybody deserves their day in court. Just because somebody said somebody did something,
right.
They didn't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, just because somebody said they got raped doesn't mean they got raped by this person. But it also doesn't mean that they didn't.
Right.
And it was serious. These allegations were serious enough, and they were coming at fast and furious enough that he resigned from Congress. Mm-hmm. And not only that, he was a candidate for the California governor, and suspended his candidacy as well and stepped down. So there's a lot of smoke here.
Yeah.
Don't know if obviously he is guilty of some sort of indiscretion, if nothing else. Because you don't step down.
Well, the appearance.
Indiscretion. Put it this way: if somebody came to Terry and said, "Hey Terry, we have allegations that you sexually assaulted a woman," you'd say, "Fuck off." You would stand up for yourself. You wouldn't go, "Oh, I'm gonna close my doors for a little while right here." You'd fight it.
Yeah.
And now that doesn't mean I don't know that the guy's guilty or not, but he's got enough juice out there right now that something has happened. And it may not be rape. It could have just been that he's a creepy dude. Yeah. But it's enough that he wants to get out of the way.
Right.
And we should have known this about this guy. This guy was had an affair with a Chinese spy.
Yeah. Well,
back years ago. So he's not a good dude. What gets me are these people. Look, I don't care what you do with your personal life, but when you start trying to tell people and lecture people on what they ought to be doing with their life, and then you're doing it in your back room, you can piss off.
Right.
You're a piece of crap.
Well, related to this real quick, just something that I heard this morning was that Josh Hawley is pushing a bill to bar lawmakers from getting their pension.
I think they should.
If they've been convicted of sexual abuse. We've had a number of congressional members that have had these issues.
I think it ought to be more than sexual abuse. I think this should be expanded.
Well,
if you get drummed out, or if you're convicted of an indiscretion while you're under your while you're a elected official, you shouldn't get your pension.
Right. So so that's Swalwell. Oh
yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. I've seen him in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Just
You didn't know who I was talking about?
No, I've.
Yeah.
So cool. Well, not cool that it has to happen, but at least he's stepping down, figuring out. So
let's do real quick stories, and we'll leave our last story till next week. Our guest is here.
Okay.
So Drew Kaufman is now named the 13th. This is local head coach of women's basketball in the 13th coach in history of women's basketball at Midwestern State University, and he actually has never been a college basketball coach. He's been a high school coach.
Okay.
And he was very successful. He was in Decatur, which is right down the road from us here, basically. And he led the Lady Eagles, the Decatur Lady Eagles, to a state championship in 2022, and back-to-back state championships, by the way. Won 476 games and had more of a 75% winning percentage. That's pretty high. And that was during his 20 years as a high school coach. And he actually played one full season for Midwestern State University when he was in college. And it was they went to the Lone Star Conference Championship and appearance in the NCAA tournament, and he played under Coach Jeff Ray. So we have as a community have a new women's basketball coach at Midwestern State University, and we hope him the success. They need some stability there because I believe he is the third coach in 5 seasons. When you have that many coaches, when you have any organization that has leadership that is going through like that, there's a problem. There's an issue, and don't know if it's internal, don't know if it's external, but it's never going to be good for your program, especially a athletic program that you're dealing with teenagers and young adults and that sort of thing. Right. They need stability. And so good luck. We hope that, and the good news is he didn't have to really relocate very far.
Right. No, Decatur's just up the road.
It's an hour.
Yeah.
It's an hour away. And then the other item we want to talk about, another coaching change here in Wichita Falls. Ross Dillard has been announced as the new head football coach and campus coordinator at Memorial High School. And he took over Mark Bindle.
Which we've interviewed.
We've had Mark on our show here. Yeah, Mark's been twice, I think.
Yeah.
Mark was a longtime coach with Ryder, and then with Memorial, he's been the head coach there. He moved over to Salina when had an opportunity there. That's such a fast-growing area. I'm sure.
Salina,
Texas? Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know there was a Salina, Texas.
Yeah, it's not Kansas. Yeah.
I was going to say, I know Salina, Kansas.
No, it's north of Prosper, the Metroplex.
Oh, okay.
And all those up there. That area is exploding, and it's a whole bunch of wealthy people that are moving up there. So I'm sure that and I shot Mark a text, and he and I have been friends for a long time, and he's a really good guy with good. He's a great coach. He's great with kids, and I think he's going to do a great job. But Ross has been with Ryder and with Memorial for 11 years. So he's not new to the game. He knows the system, and so he's going to step in and take over. And by the way, he's had a very successful career as a defensive coordinator, and he knows the kids. He knows the program. He knows the parents. Sometimes you do need to go outside your program and find a new head coach. But in some cases, if you have the right person in place, just come on in, Mark. If you have the right person in place, just go ahead and roll with them. And like I said, he knows everybody. He knows the system. And I think Ross is going to do a great job and keep the Memorial High School winning tradition going.
Okay. Well, then come on down.
Live transition here.
There you go.
So this morning we have our guest, Wichita County Judge candidate, Mark Dora.
Yep.
And he's going to actually –
we'll get you right on there.
look at there. Got your name and everything.
Yeah.
All right.
See? So,
hell, even if you didn't have his name, he's got it there, and he's got it there.
Yeah, you don't know. If you can't figure out who he is. You know?
Yeah. So anyhow, well, welcome to the show. We appreciate you coming on.
Well, thank you.
And Election Day is fast approaching.
It is.
Of course, the first election, you and Rick Hatcher both neither one of you got 50%, so you have to have a runoff.
Correct.
And there were 4 candidates, weren't they?
3.
There were 3.
Yes.
So,
Would you come up to the mic a little closer?
There
There we go.
And right there, we're going to talk, but right there.
If you
want to
look at the audience and
that's
look at,
right where it is. So,
So
anyhow, give us a little backstory about you. We actually, Mark and I grew up in close to the same neighborhood. We were neighborhood adjacent. You were Lincoln Heights, and I was Eden Hills.
Yes. Very close to each other. So same elementary school,
went to the same
junior
schools.
high, same high
Yeah,
school.
I was just a little bit ahead. We were in elementary school at the same time.
Yes.
Just in probably a different wing of the school.
Yes,
And
I
then-
was down there in the little pre-K first grade, and you were up in the big boys.
Yeah, I was up on the other wing. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, big man on campus there. So, but tell us a little bit about your history here.
Trey used to take me out back, rough me up.
Yeah, right.
So, as Trey said, born and raised Wichita Falls, a product of Wichita Falls ISD. Graduated from Hershey High School in 1994. From there, I went to University of North Texas, got a degree in mathematics education.
Wow, so you're smart.
Yeah, that's questionable, but
mathematics degree is not easy to do.
So, decided that Wichita Falls wasn't as bad as I thought it was when I lived here, and had to really kind of suck my pride up, call my mom and dad, and say, I think I'm going to move back. And I made the move back. Haven't looked back since. It's just a great community. I heard you talk about earlier, it's a gripe. There's nothing to do here. There's nothing to do here if you don't want there to be anything to do.
You're right.
There are items to do, a great family location. I can't think of a better place to raise my family. I'm still raising my family here.
When you're right. When you're from Wichita Falls, most kids in Wichita Falls that I knew that had aspirations, I don't want to be here. I want to get out of here. It's not Dallas. It's not Oklahoma City. It's not whatever. But you do realize, especially when you have kids, this is a really, really good, solid place to raise a kid.
Yes.
So Wichita Falls has a lot going for it.
Yes. Well, Trey, we're similar in age. So parents from growing up, the rule was be home before the street light came on.
Mm-hmm.
And literally our neighborhood was that safe that we could come home from school, do our schoolwork, and we could go out. And we had a park close by right next to the elementary school.
Yeah.
We could go play. We'd do basketball. We had all kinds of events, baseball, football, whatever. And we could walk home. There's 3 blocks. Just be home before the street light came on.
Yeah.
And parents didn't have to worry about everything. They didn't have to be right next to us everywhere we went. It was just, it's a great environment to grow in. It gives you self-confidence. You get to explore. You get to go learn things on your own. We had some fields and different things.
Oh,
We
yeah.
were always catching
Rode my bicycles and dirt bikes a million times out there.
That's right. And it's just a great atmosphere.
Well, and it was the same type of atmosphere to where your parents were your parents, but every adult there was also your parent. To some degree.
Yes.
In other words, if Miss Jones saw you acting up, you throwing rocks at each other, and Miss Jones was on her way to the house, and she pulled over and she said, "Boys, quit throwing rocks at each other." Nobody threw a rock at Miss Jones, and nobody got snide. You quit throwing rocks.
Yes.
Because Miss Jones knows your mom and dad.
Yes.
And if you keep throwing rocks or you sass Miss Jones, she's going to make a phone call or
That's
go
right.
knock on your door.
Yeah, and if Miss Jones called my dad, the wrath was coming.
Yeah.
He didn't question what Mrs. Jones said. If she said it, it was the truth.
Oh, yeah.
And
even if it wasn't, it was the
I
truth.
had to own up to it. That's right.
Well,
That's
and
right.
if I got in trouble at school, I'd be getting it again
Oh, at home.
at
Oh,
home.
my
I mean,
goodness,
I
yeah.
don't know, but
Yeah.
oh well.
Oh, yeah. The
Now,
licks at school.
Yeah.
Kind of tells you. I got a few licks at school.
yep,
too.
we were.
Those are nothing. The ones at home were the ones that I feared the most.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's the funny thing because we both went to Kirby and we both grew up in similar neighborhoods. We couldn't walk home from Kirby. We had to ride the bus. You had to get on the bus. So there was always a choice. Do you want D-Haul or do you want licks? Well, D-Haul meant I had to call my mom, and I had to come have my mom pick me. So she knew I was going to get in trouble. If I just took licks, there was a chance that wouldn't get back to my mom, and I might avoid the punishment there. So
yeah, so I had the worst end of that. Dad was a woodshop teacher,
Oh,
and he
no.
crafted the best walnut, long, probably
Did it have
36 inches long with
holes
holes
built.
in it.
Yeah.
Oh, my
Let
goodness.
me
Yeah.
tell you what, that man could swing a paddle.
And that made it more aerodynamic.
Aerodynamic, yeah.
So, and it's quarter inch. Yeah. Well, same high school. Mr. Bledsoe is Arlington Heights High School in Fort Worth, and he was our shop teacher. And he took care of things at the lowest level.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if you acted up in shop class, yeah, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
So
The only thing I always questioned Dad was his target. He very seldom did he hit the buttocks.
Yeah.
The back of the legs were just on fire.
You almost want to give him some glasses. Go here, put these on before you do that.
Ooh.
Yeah, you didn't have enough time to talk after that. It was
Oh yeah.
So, all right, moving forward, you graduate from University of North Texas. You decide to move back to Wichita Falls.
Yes.
And then, so what do you do when you come back to Wichita Falls?
Got on Wichita Falls Fire Department.
Okay.
Great move. I really enjoyed my time on the Wichita Fire Department. I learned a lot. Started getting, obviously, Dad was a teacher, Mom was a nurse. Been involved in public service, helping people. It was a great opportunity to start helping people, and was able to flourish in that career. Went on to did some work with Texas Task Force 1, which is really vital, and also got a degree
Explain
in
what
paramedicine.
that is. What's
So you have fire service, you have military, Air Force, Army, different things, but they also have specialized units, Green Berets, Navy SEALs. In the fire service, you have specialized Texas Task Force 1, where they specialize in urban search and rescue. Could be wildland, swift water, different areas. So I did pretty much all the training. I was wildland certified, swift water, and urban search and rescue. Specialized mostly in wildland firefighting and swift water rescue. Now, not a lot of swift water events in North Texas,
right?
but there are floods occasionally, and that's considered a water event. People do get stranded. They need to get out of their house or out of high water situations. So we would deploy, go in those areas and help people.
Wow.
In that area. So,
And you did it all over the state. You would go all over the state.
yeah, so Texas Task Force 1's a state resource. We would deploy anywhere in the state. Prior to my time on that, they actually deployed outside the state. They went to 911 in New York. They went to Hurricane Katrina. So the state resource can be used for major events outside of the state of Texas. And they are a very highly trained group of individuals that are very, very good at what they do.
And which fire stations did you?
Started out Station 2.
Which is
Off MLK,
Okay.
east side of town. Also worked at Station 5, got my hazmat certification, so dealt with hazard material. Station 5, and then Station 8, which is the newer station on Southwest Parkway where Funland used to be.
right, exactly. Okay.
So-
And Station 5 is the one by the bay. It's by the
North
DPS?
Beverly.
Oh, North Beverly. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
right off Beverly. Beverly Loop 11, not North Beverly, but right
Yeah.
there. Station 5 sits next to the old, I guess, CVS that's now closed.
Yeah, exactly.
But yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So.
It actually, I believe, Station 5 originally, the building was over there on the street right next to the Hershey track.
I believe that was the old 7.
Oh,
Old
was it?
5, I believe, is now where GTO Engineering is.
Okay.
Just kind of off Kemp Street
Yeah.
on Kell there. But, yes, some old fire stations around town still. Some of the very old ones are still there, just knowing where they are. And it's a good little kind of history thing to figure those out.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, we have a great little fire museum that hopefully someday we'll be able to have a building and kind of get the fire and police stuff out there. There's a bunch of old, police cars and fire trucks that
A lot of memorabilia.
we would love
right
to
now.
get that out to the public. That's just something that in the future, just the history is really, really neat.
So, how many years did you spend on the fire department?
A little over 17, retired in 2018, went back into the business world. So along this, starting at a young age, I started a landscaping business. Did that for
Well, almost every fireman has another.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know any fireman who's I'm a fireman and that's it.
Yes, I started landscaping at 12. It's kind of funny. Little argument with Dad about clothes as a young kid, a 12-year-old boy, and I wanted some Levi's 501 button-fly jeans.
Uh-huh.
Very popular back in the 80s. Dad wasn't going for it. They're a little more expensive than he wanted to spend. And
Then
so,
the what Tough Skins or whatever it was. the
yeah,
other
I
ones?
don't remember. I didn't want to wear them, whatever they were.
Rustlers. You had
Yeah.
Wranglers and 501s, and then you had Rustlers. Rustlers were the Kmart
Yes,
jeans.
yeah.
Yeah.
So decided, you know what, I'm going to get a job. And so I did. I started working for a guy at church and kind of learned a little bit that first year and said, I can do this on my own. So I started doing it on my own, and it really flourished into a very huge company. Actually retired/resigned from that. I was doing CFO work in Lubbock for a design firm doing the exact same thing. But December 31st was my last day. January 1st, I started campaigning full-time for Wichita County Judge. And that is my job right now. I am literally every day, especially morning and evenings are the super busy times. Midday, you have a little bit of a break. But I'm campaigning, meeting as many people as I can, door-to-door, small groups, podcast. Oh, by the way, first podcast ever for me, so thank you.
All
Good.
right.
Congratulations.
All
Yeah,
right.
thank you.
Yes,
Thank you
yes.
for being on. So what drew you to running for county judge?
You know, an opportunity to give back. It's one of those things they teach you in school that you want to be well-rounded or diversified. So I've spent, obviously, my childhood learning a lot of things. College is really good about that. You take classes, and you're like, why am I taking this class?
Yeah, why am I taking humanities, especially
Yes.
as a math major?
Yeah, you're taking these classes like, I'm not going to do anything with this. But you really are. There's a place for it, and it makes you a more well-rounded person. Gives you a better perspective of the world. So I've had that opportunity. I've worked in different communities between Wichita Falls, Denton, and Lubbock. I get to see some outside things. I've also worked with accounting, finance, the business background, and then obviously the time of fire service, which give me some good emergency management experience. So I'm able to bring that skill set back. Those line up very well with the position of a county judge. And so when I got to looking into that, I'm like, this is an opportunity to take what I've learned over the last 25, 30 years, and let's apply that to a local level where I can get involved and I can give back. And we're in a great opportunity right now in Wichita County. We've got some potential that hasn't been here for decades that can really change the dynamic or the, I guess, the future of Wichita County.
You're right.
So it's a pivotal time, and I think, you know, what I've learned and the resources and assets I can bring to assist can be useful. And that's just an opportunity I wanted to take.
So, yeah, 'cause like you're right. As you talked about, the county judge. Well, first off, you're in charge of the budget. You're the chief budget person. I mean, you know,
Yes.
you're in charge of the budget. Of course, the court has to approve it, but you start the budget. So that's you said your financial management background. You also are the emergency management, the main emergency management, I guess, coordinator for the. Or you're not the coordinator, but you're in charge of the emergency management of the
Yes.
county as well.
Yes. Yeah, you oversee. In emergency management, the county judge is the head of that. If there's an event, a flood, a tornado, severe storms, kind of the top three for our area. One thing most people don't think about is hazardous materials. We have rail. A lot of stuff moves through this community on rail, and there's a lot of stuff that moves through on 18-wheelers as far as radioactive material that
'Cause we
most
have
people don't think.
We have three major highways that converge: 281, 287, and I-44 converge in Wichita Falls.
That's correct. That's correct. And I-35 brings a lot of traffic off I-35, 287 up through here. One thing I learned being on a hazardous material technician was there's radioactive material that moves through this area. It comes up 35, comes across 287, working its way towards Amarillo. But that's an event that could potentially happen.
Yeah.
Having that hazardous materials background will come in handy. It's definitely nice to know. Most people don't think about that, and they don't think about the rail cars either.
The
chemicals,
rail is a big one.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
the amount of chemicals that are there.
Well, I know we don't have, West Texas kind of thing with that. Remember the explosion that happened in West?
Oh,
That was, of course, a
ammonium
plant,
nitrate.
a fertilizer plant. But that was right
Right.
there. But still, that
Yeah, not West Texas, but West,
right,
Texas.
right.
The town of West.
right off
the
of
Kolachi
35.
place.
Yes, but
Yes.
yes, Kolaches.
My
yes.
family's from Central Texas, so it's
But-
Sorrel is a Czech
so,
name, so I'm
yeah.
Czech.
Which forever changed the ag industry because I'm in the ag industry. Good luck getting ammonium nitrate fertilizer. I grow hay as part of our operation. The best product, if you're going to increase your yields or the quality of your hay, is ammonium nitrate fertilizer. It's not available anymore. It's out
really?
there, but nobody will carry it because of the insurance.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So the liability associated with it. So you're left with ammonium sulfate or urea. Both products that work, but not as good as ammonium nitrate.
That's interesting. That's interesting to know that.
Yes.
So, also in your experience, and I imagine being in I've never been a firefighter, so I've not lived in a fire station, but you're living closely to people. I mean, you're with these people. It's not like, Terry and I, we have businesses, and we always kind of joke, we're around our family, we're around our employees and people we work with more waking hours than we are our own families. But you guys are really around each other waking and not waking hours more than your families. So do you think that experience of working closely with people with different mindsets, different backgrounds and stuff like that will help you in this position?
Definitely. One, you learn to be patient. You learn to have, I call it empathy, very important. Emotional intelligence. You have to read your coworkers or the room or the environment around you and know how to respond at certain times or different things. You talk about the closeness. I can remember laying in bed, you stretch your arms out in the morning or something, and your left arm falls on the bed to the left of you, and your right arm falls on the bed to the right of you. That's close proximity sleeping. So you really get to know each other very well. But it ties in, when you have those different personalities, you have to learn to work as a team to manage those. You have a mission, you have a goal. If you're on scene, you have to put those aside if there's any differences, and you have to continue to work. That's very important. Duties and responsibilities, county judge, commissioner's court. Mm-hmm. You're working with 4 elected, keywords elected. They're not your employees or your coworkers. They're elected officials.
They're your peers.
Yes. You have to learn to work in a team. There's a lot of other elected officials in county government. If you look at the business hierarchy model, the top of it is the voter and citizens. After that, it's elected officials, kind of a horizontal,
pretty
straight
real
line
flat.
across.
Yeah.
And so you have to be a team player, willing to work together. You have to learn that give and take. You have to learn that, hey, sometimes you can get across the finish line not exactly the way you planned, but you got there and you got the results done. So that's important. That's a very key part of that job. The budget you mentioned. That could be up to 60% of the county judge's workload. That is overwhelmingly the largest part of his job. So the finance background, accounting background, very important. Another thing is facility maintenance and capital improvements or overseeing building, courthouse, annex buildings, the jail or the emergency center type deal. Those are all very important areas that county judge is over in the management of those. So I have a background in real estate. I'm an investor. I've done multifamily, single family, and commercial. Have a pretty good grasp and understanding on managing properties, what it takes to continue to do maintenance, preventive maintenance, preparing ahead, and also if there's something bad and you need to have a capital improvement, working with either architects or builders or contractors to get those done correctly in an efficient manner. So,
wow, extensive background. So do you have any other points that you want to touch on that are kind of your campaign points, or why you're the right person for the job?
Well, one thing I'll talk about emergency management, kind of just to separate. You have emergency management and public service. So this has come up. Anybody that is willing to put themselves out there in public service, either elected official, fire service, police officer, sheriff's office, you got to take your hats off to them. It's not the most enjoyable job sometimes. There's definitely benefits to it. But a lot of times there's some negativity around it. There can be some stress associated with it. But I want to separate that emergency management of it. So the county judge will oversee emergency management. That's emergency responses versus, let's say, public service as you're working in an elected official position. That can be stressful too. But you have to understand as emergency management, what are the guys in the field actually going through, and what resources do they actually need to get your job? I have that advantage because I was the field guy. From the bottom up, I've worked my way up through that system. I understand when there's a tornado or a flood event or a severe storm, the guy on the ground, in the ditches, in the trenches of the field, what he's going through mentally and what he needs resource-wise. And that's an advantage I will bring from the emergency management side. So that's a key deal. You can have the public service side, which is very good. I appreciate that. But understanding that dynamic and the depth of where emergency management goes is key.
Yeah, and I think you're right. And I do believe that that's one of those things that it's called an emergency for a reason. It's not called an everyday.
Yes.
You know, and by the way, people kind of forget about the emergency part of it when it doesn't happen. But when the shit hits the fan, you can't unring that bell. It's happened.
Yes.
And somebody has to respond, and the way it's responded to and the manner it's responded to can be the difference between life and death for people on severe or just life altering for people as well. Right. And you know, so we all tend to, and I think the culture, especially the younger culture, is they don't understand consequences the way that we kind of did. They play a lot of video games and they do a lot of stuff online where, you know, you could say something nasty about somebody online. Well, they're not going to pop you in the nose because they don't know where the hell you are and stuff like that. So there are really no consequences. And I think sometimes we've gotten, as a society, we've gotten a little desensitized to consequences to realize that when it hits, it's for real and it's now and it's here, and you need level head, you need experience, and you need somebody who can coordinate all that.
Yes,
and
yes.
it's very important. Well, and hopefully it never happens.
Right. Well, yeah.
Correct. We never want that event.
You hope it never happens, but that's what we hope. We all have insurance, right? Because we hope our house doesn't burn down or we have wreck our car. But we all know it does happen.
So good point. Insurance. That is preparing ahead, correct? So emergency management. One of the deals I have in here is preparedness. As emergency management, don't wait till the bell rings. Yeah. Let's get ahead of the curve and let's prepare our community. That's what you're going to have where you have citizen buy-in, citizen involvement, citizen accountability, right? Let's talk about these major events that are most likely in our area. Let's prepare for those ahead of time. Let's not wait and be reactive. Let's be proactive on that. And that's a key deal in emergency management is being prepared. Think ahead, think these scenarios. Let's put some events on, which the county and city already do, and surrounding counties. They practice these different things, and the fire and police and sheriff's office coordinate together. They're doing preparedness already. Let's expand that to the citizens and get the importance at accountability at a personal level that, hey, I can prepare my house, my family for this to understand what would happen and how we respond to these events. That helps to streamline that when we do have an event. Right. People have already practiced it. They have something to rely on. Military, first responders, what do? They practice because in stressful times, you fall back on your training. That's right. Let's do that at the personal level. Let's do that with our families, our households, our small communities within Wichita County. And let's get that message out.
Well, there's every year there's some small emergencies. I mean, every year there's some sort of fire. It seems like somewhere, and that is a small emergency, but it is something that you would deal with at the county level. And you also have to coordinate with how many volunteer fire departments in Wichita County.
Yes.
And you probably need to coordinate with Clay County because there's sometimes that crosses a line, a property line, Archer County, all of that stuff. So
coordination with our surrounding counties is very important. You think of wildland fire events. Some of those can be extremely fast moving. Yeah. You learn a city resource can get tapped out, and you need those volunteer departments. You need the other county departments that you have mutual aid contracts with that you get together that they can pool resources and help get to that event as quick as possible. I do have good experience. I am a volunteer for KMA Fire Department. We live out in just south of Iowa Park, a little community called Valley View. It's not really incorporated anymore.
By the way, there's not a valley, and it's not much of a view.
Yeah, define valley. We do have little drop-offs on the back of our north side of our land's a river. We're not a true valley.
Yeah, and there ain't a whole lot of you out there. Let's be fair. So go ahead.
Mesquite trees, they're beautiful.
Yeah, I know.
Especially this time of year, they're in bloom.
Yeah. Mesquite trees do look good in bloom.
But no, Terry, you bring up a great point. You have your citizens, you have your communities, your cities, your counties, North Texas. We're all together. We're a family. That's the approach that I really want people to understand. My approach to county government, to my family, to my friends, my community, is a team event. We're in this together. Let's train together. Let's practice together. Let's help each other succeed. Yeah. It's not like you're an island, Terry's an island, and I'm an island.
Right.
No, let's be on the same page. Are we always going to agree? No. But can we have the same goals and kind of achieve and work to get there? Yes, we can do that. We need to do that as a community, as a county, and as part of North Texas. We're part of it. We got Wilbarger, Archer, and Clay extremely close. We have the river that separates us from Oklahoma to the north, but we need to work together in those communities and make sure we're working towards the same good and not trying to reinvent the wheel at every county or every city or every different organization.
So I always ask people, kind of, what would you say your top 3 objectives are when you go in? And that doesn't mean that anything's changed. But we had Jim Johnson was here with us last week, and I think he's done a phenomenal job.
Great job
as a county judge,
yes.
And Woody Gossman before. So we've had a very long, because Woody was around for a long time. I think Jesus was a county judge before Woody. So we've had county judges. We've had a good string of county judges. So let everybody know kind of what is your top 3 in your mind, your top priorities, top 3 when you are elected.
Well, I'll kind of give you a little note here, some goals. Maintain financial health. It's important. The budget, we have to live within our means. I'm super excited about some growth potential. Tax base growth, keyword is base, not tax rate, but tax base growth allows our community to do some things that we might not be able to do otherwise. It also is a hedge against inflation. We have to have growth. If we don't have tax-based growth, that little word inflation just eats you up over time. Give you a point. We all started a job when we got out of high school or college. If we were making that same amount of pay today, we would be in bad shape because inflation has continued every year. Yeah. Government is no different. If you're trying to operate on a budget from 30 years ago, you can't do it. So it taps your resources. So we have to maintain financial health. We need tax-based growth. That helps the community. It can help with the tax rate at that point. If you have growth, you can do things with the tax rate.
Oh, absolutely.
Lower the tax
you
rate.
can lower
Very
the tax
important.
rate. Yeah,
that's right.
By the way, when I was on the school board, we lowered the tax rate 3 times. So just to not for nothing.
Judge Johnson in the Commissioner's Court have done a great job lowering the tax rate.
Yeah,
done a great job on that. Public safety. We can't have communities that grow or businesses or individuals that can succeed if we don't have public safety. So that has to be important. We need to fund our public safety staffing levels, make sure they have the resources they need. Currently, we have some issues. That's an issue we need to address at the county level. We are having some staffing issues because of pay. We are losing jailers and sheriff's deputies to surrounding communities, to either Clay or Archer, Wilbarger, or even the Metroplex. You brought up Mr. Bindle earlier. Mm-hmm. I hate to see that gentleman leave. Phenomenal individual.
He really is a good guy. But you can also understand you got to do what's best for your family.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. Support his decision. Public safety, we've got to address that. The county office is severely underpaid compared to surrounding departments, counties, and even the city as far as police. So that's an area we need to address. The other one is efficient court systems. We have to be able to allow the district courts, the DA's office, again, resources, move things through the court system efficiently. If it's technology, if it's logistics of equipment, whatever it may be, we have to make sure we take care of that. And another one is going to be excellent customer service. At the end of the day, we're all taxpayers. Mm-hmm. We have to have the best individuals, the best employees that are in those positions that are well trained and provide the best customer service possible.
And they have to care.
Yeah. Yes.
And like I said before, let me back up a little bit. I've said this before many times on this program. Somebody that works, let's say, city or county, and you're not getting great customer service. It's not because they're bad people. They've gotten complacent. And unfortunately, in city and county, there's really no competition. So if you need something, if I need to go pull a permit, and I live in Wichita Falls, I can't go pull a permit in Burke Burnett to work on my house in Wichita Falls because I like those people better. I've got to go to the permit office.
Correct.
Or if you need something done with the county, you have to go to that office. And sometimes, and this is human nature. Human nature is when people have to come to you, no matter how good a person you are, you can tend to be, you don't have to be, but you can tend to get a little bit jaded, and you kind of get a little bit big for your britches. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. It just means that maybe you just kind of think that, you're more important than you really are.
And that can be tied to the stress of the job. You can see this in fire and police service.
Right.
You're in that position for a long time. or even on a shift basis, if you're having that day and you're on your 15th call and it's 3 o'clock in the morning and this call comes in and you're like, this really is not an emergency, you still have to maintain that professionalism, be respectful, provide great customer service, although it's taxing sometimes. Mm-hmm. But you do. You get in a position and you overcome that. You have to keep employee morale up. You can do this with training also. Right. Keep your employees trained. Let's train as much as possible. Let's provide that training because training provides confidence to individuals.
That's
when
right.
you have confidence, you're more willing to do your job, or you feel more comfortable in your job because of that confidence level. It's no different than a student learning. If a student loses confidence in a subject matter, you have a challenge on your hand. If you can maintain that confidence level in that student, they're going to excel in that learning environment. It's no different than an employee. And I also will correlate this back to pay. Being a private business owner, there's a direct correlation to employee pay, quality of employee, and company outcomes. They're tied together. So not that we want to be the highest paid in the state of Texas, but if we offer attractive pay, attractive salaries, we can get the best employees who correlate to the opportunity to train or understand training better, who can be better educated. They can provide better customer service, or they can educate the public or the voters and citizens that come in and use that service. So to me, there's a correlation. It all ties together, and it's important that we have that.
Right, and it's and us being in the retail world in particular, that's something that we deal with. You don't know what the person coming in is going on, and if you can understand that and you're prepared and you're trained and given those opportunities to practice scenarios and things for customer service, then again you're prepared and much better.
Yes. I mean, most employers want to hire college-educated individuals. They're more well-rounded, as we talked earlier, for the diversity of customers coming in that can handle those situations or think outside the box. There's an advantage. That's why traditionally, college-educated individuals have a higher pay scale than those that aren't. That doesn't always mean that's true. There's some individuals that are phenomenal people out there. The tradespeople are phenomenal, and they can make very good livings out there. So there's definitely opportunity. But training, education, we want that customer service edge. And
even in a government entity, we definitely need it.
Even when there's really no technical competition, because you do work for the taxpayer. So, all righty. Well, as we're winding down here now, before I can't let you go, because not only did you and I grow up in a similar neighborhood and went to the same schools, we also have another thing in common. We're both Aggie daddies.
That's correct.
So tell us about the shirt real quick.
Yes. So my oldest daughter is a freshman at Texas A&M, and part of that deal, she, not being here, still wanted to contribute to the campaign and help out as much as possible. She bought this Texas A&M shirt for me and said, "Dad, any event where you're going to be speaking in public or doing things, you have to wear my shirt." And I said, "Well, why is that, Ava?" And she says, "That's my opportunity and my way to be with you and help you." So when I have a public speaking event, I always wear this shirt if possible as a support and to my daughter and to Texas A&M. Nope. I have one. Trey, you had 3. So I have 2 other children, 13 and 15. Hopefully they'll be Aggies one day. We'll see. That will be their decision, though. Yeah. No pressure by Dad.
And what's your daughter's name?
Ava. My oldest daughter's Ava.
So Ava, thanks and gig 'em.
And Barney Fudge is actually a grad, isn't he?
Yes. You think?
Yeah,
he has a maroon everything. Yeah, I think his underwear is maroon.
Oh, yeah, and he's got all. Yeah, they tailgate and.
Oh yeah.
So we have a great community of Aggies in Wichita County.
Oh, we do. Yeah.
And North Texas. Yeah. And they're very. My wife. There's an Aggies moms group. They get together all the time and do things. Matter of fact, they got together this week and made little baggies to send to the kids because finals week is coming up. So it's a very close-knit, which I really enjoy. That's community aspect again, right? That's the advantage of Wichita County to me is we have that closeness. Let's keep it. Let's grow it and have that community pride. And I want to keep that going.
Absolutely. Mark Dora, thank you very much. We appreciate you being in. Real quickly, tell everybody when to vote, how to vote, where to vote often and early, whatever.
All right, just in case you didn't see, Mark Dora, and Mark Dora. But I want your vote. I would love your vote. we need it May 18th through May 22nd, early voting. May 26th is election day, the day after Memorial Day.
So
Key point here is May 18th. Put that on your calendar. Let's get early voting. Let's hit it.
where will early voting be
The
held?
polling locations that were open in the primary.
Which were?
Same locations. I don't remember exactly every location.
Google it. Right.
So,
yeah.
yes, look that up. Go to the county website.
Okay.
But remember, mark on your calendar, May 18th is key. Let's get that early vote in. Let's get it over with. Go enjoy your Memorial Day weekend and not have to worry about coming back to vote.
The one thing is, and I will say, this is not one to sit out. I mean, this is a big. If you're a Wichita County resident, this is a big key position.
Yes.
And so take the time, make the effort, and get out there and vote.
Trey, very much true. The local politics, city, school, and county, are as a county resident or a city resident, those are the ones that you should be the most involved in because you have the most direct influence.
You have
Your
the most direct
vote
influence.
counts.
You have the most direct influence, and the things they do influence your
Yes,
life directly
absolutely.
more.
Right.
Yes.
When you go up, the president does something. It may be on the news. It may be blah 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 or Congress, but how does it affect your life? Like, and it damn sure doesn't immediately. Everything takes time.
Yes.
Whereas county and city and even school district decisions can affect your life now.
Right.
That's correct.
And think about this. Just go back to and remind yourself of COVID and the we didn't put masks on because the president or even Fauci or anybody else said so. We were kind of compelled to do it. And
Except for Eddie Hill's Fun Cycles, we told him to piss off.
yeah, that's right. But anyway, what I'm
And
saying,
I'm very proud of it.
right? But you know what I'm saying is that law, that requirement, and I put that in quotes.
An ordinance.
It was ordinance,
it was
right?
an ordinance.
Was done at the county and the city level, not
Yes.
at the president. Didn't make us do it. It was Texas, and then at our level. So,
And by the way, not to you got me fired up.
I
On
know.
this one. I fought that, and by the way, the governor agreed with me and said that municipalities can't force masks. So,
all right. So, all right. Well, good deal. Well, thank you. Hey, we got.
Thank you very much.
Get that in here.
Okay, so join us next Friday morning at 7:30, and Steve Garner will be here, and Erica Munt.
And
I will
filling
not
in,
be here.
Our guest host will be.
I
Steve
will
Garner.
be out on a, as Mike used to say, a secret squirrel
Super
mission.
Secret Squirrel.
Yeah,
yes.
so I will not be here. So, so anyhow, go right ahead.
All right. Well, like Mike always said, that we will see you down the road.